We fix the fracture, it saves us all. Okay? So go ahead. Go ahead and kill me. It's not gonna make a fucking difference. But if you kill Joyce, then we have...
Today I'm going to be talking about a game released in April 5th of 2016 made by Remedy Entertainment. And, just to start, it's a lot of things. It's a story, platformer, third-person shooter, puzzle, choose-your-own-adventure, TV show, drama, action, video game. It's a lot of things, but most importantly, it's... In Act 1, you open on your way to a college campus somewhere in Utah, on your way to meet your friend Paul Serene, where he reveals he's built a time machine. But when he enters the time machine, he gets trapped inside, and quickly after, your brother William Joyce enters the room with a gun, telling you that time is going to end. But through all of this chaos, you quickly have to make an escape, as Monarch, the FBI or private security guard for hire equivalent of this world,
Agent Milton with the Pinkerton Detective Agency!
Already?
is here, and you have to escape the college campus. As you run, you very quickly get cut back off by Monarch, where you get your first gun and have to fight your way out. This is the first moment where we get introduced to the gunplay, or combat of the game, and it's really fun. With the powers and enemies you eventually use and fight, the gunplay never really gets stale. There's also this Red Dead Redemption 2 type kill cam that happens here and there, which is pretty cool too. You also have this weapon wheel and powers like Time Bubble, Time Shield, Time Dash, Time Vision, and a bunch of other powers just with the word time at the end of it. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, because Will says he needs something very important from his car. But as you start heading towards it, Monarch quickly surrounds the premises and you get into another big fight, where you unlock Time Bubble, a power where you shoot a frozen bubble of time out of your hand, which lets you freeze someone and all the bullets coming towards them until it all unfreezes and they get hit with the bullets all at once. You quickly finish killing everyone and realize that Will is gone.
Where is he? Where's my brother?
Leading you to look for him and unlock Time Dash soon after while entering the library, which lets you dash quickly, and if you zoom in right after dashing, you get to slow down time for just a bit. And although it might sound dumb in theory, it's actually pretty good, and it's how I had to kill most of the enemies early to mid-game until I unlocked better powers. The best thing about it is how, while slowing down time, you have extra time to think about what you're going to do and aim in, which lets you get headshots and better aiming in general. But there's definitely a lot of weird stuff going on. The power went out at one point, and right before you got shot by some guy above you, he died from somebody else off screen. Not only that, but there was also a cop working for Monarch that let you go. It's clear someone is definitely helping you by now.
You're Jack Joyce. They're taking him to the library. You might still be able to catch them.
Which is intriguing, but right now, we have to talk about the platforming. The platforming in this game is pretty good, but it's more of a puzzle than anything else. You get to use more of your powers to freeze a moving platform and jump around on some crates with tarps over them, and after that, your first platforming section is done. Although it's pretty short, there's some longer ones that I might get into, but altogether I won't be mentioning all of them. So let's go get Will as you quickly unlock Time Shield, your last power of this act, which lets you create another time bubble, but this time, instead of shooting it at somebody else, you shoot it around yourself, and it stops our bullets. Once the time shield eventually disappears, the bullets do with it. And after that, you save your brother and race to the door, only to get stopped by Paul. But he's different now because he's from the future.
Paul? Jack, we gotta go. Hold on. I'm sorry, Jack. No! Paul, what happened to you? What are you doing?
Only what's necessary.
Think about this. You don't know what's at stake.
I know exactly what's at stake. That's why I'm here. You believe you can stop what's coming? I'm giving you one chance to change your mind. This path, it's already said it can't be changed. The past, the future, I've seen it. I've lived it. For 17 years.
17 years. It was you, the first experiment.
Come with me and we can see this through. Or hold on to your hope and burn with it.
Now listen, I built a device. I can stop this. I can.
You can't.
This is madness. There's no harm in trying.
There is. That's why I can't risk you opposing me, Will. It doesn't have to end like this.
We can't just let this happen. I'll never stop trying.
It took me years to come to terms with what must be done. But we don't have years.
Wait.
Trigger. I never wanted this.
After a big fight, he detonates the library with Will inside it, getting crushed by falling rubble. And just like that, Act 1 is over. To be honest, most of Act 1 is more of a tutorial than anything else, but from here on out, we unlock 2 more mechanics and we get into the main part of the game. Another mechanic I like in this game is called junctions. Right after each chapter ends, you see Paul's point of view, and you get to play as him as the game gives you a choice that changes the story. Now, for the purposes of this video, I'll be choosing the lesser of 2 evils, or what I will choose to call the good story, although it's not as good as it might initially sound. For this choice, you can either kill the witnesses from what happened at the college, hardline.
Any potential threats to our plan need to be erased.
Wait!
Monarch would take a hardline approach. Crush all obstacles, eliminate all witnesses. It would be harsh. But I had made hard choices for the greater good before.
I dug through the area and I found everything I could on your bro. This is messed up, man. I trusted Monarch.
But the people of Riverport would turn against us.
You murderer!
Our secrets would be safe, but the public would hate us, and Jack would gain new allies.
Monarch's got no authority to stop you, and you tell that to everybody on that bridge.
Or let them live and run a hate campaign on Jack Joyce, the protagonist you probably got used to playing. PR.
Violence was because of Jack Joyce.
Monarch would take a PR-friendly approach and manipulate the public into siding with us. Our lies would give us control.
The manhunt continues as authorities search for Jack Joyce.
Hey, somebody's sneaking around down there. Hey! I think that's Jack Joyce!
We'd use the media to expose, then hunt for Jack.
I uploaded all the files I stole on that USB stick from the Monarch security station.
But the eyewitnesses would be out there, and Jack would learn our secrets.
At the end of each choice, the game shows you how much of the world did the same and what your friends did too through percentages, kind of like how they used to do in Minecraft Story Mode. This is another part where the game shines, because it tells the story from many perspectives instead of just one, through showing Jack Joyce's point of view, Paul Serene's point of view, and a few other people's point of view from the TV show, which I guess it's time to get into right now. It opens on a close-up of a gold pocket watch.
Time's up.
Martin, the right-hand man of Paul, in the face of Monarch, says in a cold, uncaring tone, as we see a girl crying in a chair being shown her home and parents. If she doesn't make this PR statement, she and the rest of her family will be killed, and her having no other choice, she takes the deal.
Okay. I'll do it.
Cut to your stereotypical movie asshole hacker Charlie Wincott.
What is that? What are you doing, Brenner?
Coffee cup.
No, I know it's a coffee cup, but what is it doing on my table? The fuck? You know what this is? Do they have these in Idaho?
Iowa.
Whatever. Use it.
As he gets dirt on some random news reporter and blackmails him underneath the name
Your local terrorist, Jack Joyce.
another part of the hate campaign started against him. We then see Liam Burke and his pregnant wife Emily as she tries to talk him into staying a while, but he quickly needs to leave as the driver for Joyce has gone rogue. The campaign has now gone live as we see news reporter talk about how Jack Joyce is a terrorist, and in the meantime, Liam closes in on the traitor who's revealed to be Beth Wilder, also known as that cop that we talked about earlier. As they sit in a standoff with their guns pointed at each other, Beth talks to Liam about lifeboat protocol, described as the only way to survive the end of time. But before they can look back, their guns and Joyce are both gone. And the rest of Monarch closes in, thinking that Liam has gone rogue. They then tell him and Beth to put their hands in the air as Monarch goes in to arrest them. But quickly after, a fight ensues, and Liam runs back to Monarch HQ, knowing that soon Charlie will have footage of what happened.
And that other guy kind of looks like you, but that's weird because you work for Monarch, and that guy clearly does not work for Monarch. Now, I can zoom in and go, hey, wait, stop killing me, because I just put a high security alert out on your ass. You got about 20 seconds.
He tries to stop Charlie, but fails as Charlie calls security and Liam has to run away, getting into another fight. But as he fights, let's step back a second to talk about how, in my opinion, well choreographed these fights are, because they look really good. Not just that, but the cinematography / camera angles that you see are pretty good too. There's, in my opinion, 3 base things that even a basic action movie needs to be enjoyable. Good choreography, good cinematography, and good acting, which, in my opinion, this has all 3 of these. And I guess we could also mention the CGI, which, although it's few and far between in these first few episodes, it's all around alright as well. But now he's been stopped in his car, ending the episode in a cliffhanger and transitioning us back into the game. Back to the game, you open right before the guns disappeared from Liam and Beth's hands, as you see Joyce's point of view from that moment and take their guns to escape. Right out of the van, you encounter your first Chronon source. These let you level up different powers, each Chronon source acting as one skill point that can be randomly found throughout the map, and using your time vision you can see them on a radar system. This encourages exploration and platforming. Speaking of, this next platforming section introduces the power to reverse time, pulling up fallen platforms and reassembling destroyed items while you continue on through your journey. You then quickly get news.
You're at the outskirts of a Monarch Cronin harvesting operation, and Paul Serene is at the dry docks nearby.
And start heading towards him as you encounter a hostage being held by Monarch. You break in and save her amidst the woman from before, who you'll now know as Amy Ferrero. That will be helping you through your mission to fix time, and with her, you unlock Time Blast. This move creates an explosion that kills everything in it, freezing them in time forever. But that's not the only new thing. To counter it, we have our 2 new enemies, introducing the Brute. This enemy is slow but tough, taking a lot more firepower than any of the other enemies do to kill. And our second new enemy, Quantum Suits, an enemy unfazed by time stops and also having their own time dash that they can use against you. But they have one critical weakness, as if you shoot their backs, you can disable their suits, freezing them back in time. And now, after finishing up that fight, you get even closer to the docks, experiencing some anomalies. And I'll just let this part speak for itself.
What the hell? What is this? What the hell? What is this? That already happened.
I specifically requested copper-clad niobium.
Well,
There's no words to describe it. Will was gone, but he was all around me. This entire secret life he'd never talked about, everything he tried to protect me from, it surrounded me. A puzzle, trapped in broken time. We all thought he wasted his research grant, his career, obsessing over some failed experiment. That's what he led us to believe. What he built there, it never failed. It works. It works. It was overwhelming. Every unanswered question I had was compounded by what I'd seen at that workshop. The events at the university were part of something much bigger. Something that had started 17 years ago.
It's clear that the closer you get to the dry docks, the more broken time gets, letting you see versions of yourself from the future and past, and the whole story of how Will, your brother, eventually built this time machine. After that, you meet back up with Paul Serene as he sits in a helicopter above you, giving you information that he expects you to be at this party. You refuse, but he reveals that since he's already seen the end of time, he knows how everything happens and he knows you will be there. Quickly after, the boat that you're standing on falls over and you get trapped inside of it. And this part is another platforming section. This time being, in my opinion, the hardest thing in the entire game, because for whatever reason, I struggle with this part a lot. But after that, you fight some more enemies, climb up a ladder to get out of the boat docks, and you finally catch up with Beth. As you get in her car, you, her, and Amy head towards the swimming pool.
What if I don't trust you?
Then shoot me.
Look, I'm sorry, but I'm taking the van.
That's for not listening to me back there.
Ow.
You want to stop time from breaking down? You need my help. And thanks, by the way, for the +1 in the back seat. Starting to feel like goddamn babysitter.
Babysitter? You kidding me? I got good intel off that computer. Bitch.
My ride, my music.
Who the fuck are you people?
And once you get inside, it's revealed that there's a second time machine. But you can't turn it on without someone that has more knowledge, and you only know one place to find them.
The Monarch scientist. I saw her video near Ground Zero.
Serene's head of Cronin Research. She'll be at the Monarch Gala tonight, but security's airtight. She'll be nearly impossible to get to.
Unless I have an invite. Paul told me he expected me to meet him at that party.
Something tells me that was not a friendly invitation. Jack, no.
Now you're faced with a choice. You can either level with your old friend Joyce, missing your speech, personal.
I tried to change things.
Answer me this question, Will.
I once trusted Jack more than anybody. It was my only chance to make him understand the truth.
The fuck do you mean nobody got a look at the shooter?
But without me there to give the speech, my empire would start to crumble like a house of cards.
Or let Martin talk to Joyce, letting you attend your speech, but leaving all chances of mending your previous friendship. Business.
And as you and I are well aware, Mr. Joyce, with miscalculation can often come catastrophe. And that leaves me with you, Mr. Joyce.
But my old friend would be a lost cause, dead and buried along with the rest of my past.
Tonight is a celebration in face of darkness. Tonight we celebrate because I promise to you that we are prepared.
Monarch would grow stronger with my presence. The plan would go forward as intended.
We take the business route before seeing more of the past and continuing on to episode 2, where it's shown that Paul is sick with some unknown disease, denying the end of time and lashing out at his doctor.
What you have seen is wrong.
It's not wrong. I need to prepare for my speech.
Then, at a house party later, Martin and the doctor have a talk, and I really like this scene. The music is tense, and Martin shows no fear as he stands over the doctor, staring her down, even asking her,
"Do I look threatened to you?"
This scene is a turning point for Martin, where you realize his disloyalty to Monarch. Meanwhile, Liam tries to make an escape and starts looking for Charlie, all while Charlie is going on a walk with his date Fiona. They both quickly get cut off by Liam as he tells them about the lifeboat protocol, and they head towards a nearby lab to get more info. But they're stopped by Monarch, and on trying to escape, time stops outside, freezing Fiona. Liam then explains how they're in a time-protected room, but outside they will freeze in time just like Fiona did, forcing them to get Chronon suits. But Charlie splits from the rest of the group and leaves them to fend for themselves as he runs away with a stolen suit. In another room, Martin says he's got plans to betray Paul.
I could point out that there's a difference between Paul and myself. You see, Paul, he still has such hope for the world, whereas I lean towards a more realistic approach. Trouble is, I believe that with hope comes miscalculation, and as you and I are well aware, Mr. Joyce, with miscalculation can often come catastrophe. Paul's a very dangerous man, practically a zealot, and things will only get worse if he continues unchecked. And that leaves me with you, Mr. Joyce.
Before placing a key on the table and leaving the room, which gives Joyce a chance to escape, and further proves his disloyalty. Transitioning us back into the game, where we almost immediately get our new and last power, Time Rush. This lets you sprint in slowed time, dodging bullets and letting you melee enemies that get too close. And this is really what replaces the time dash, letting you slow time longer and effortlessly dodging bullets and taking down enemies with just the tap of a button. And you're going to need it for these next two enemy types. A turret that sprays bullets at you that you can nearly effortlessly dodge with your new powers, and the second enemy, Chronon Brutes, that only take damage from the back, kind of like the hunters from Halo, needing you to sprint to the back of them before it turns around to shoot you. But to counter your new powers, in certain areas where you would fight enemies, there's been Chronon Dampeners placed around. These make you lose your powers momentarily until you turn it off. You will find a few as you make your way towards the doctor.
We're moving before time kicks back in and that drone turns us into paste.
Let's get to it, Doctor.
What? Oh no. That's can't be good. It's really, I mean, you're Jack Joyce. You're here to kill me?
No, but you're coming with us. We need your expertise.
No.
I'm not asking.
It's collapsing!
Come on! Where's the damn boat?
It's right there.
Okay, go! Get her on the boat, I'll keep you busy.
Come on, Doctor!
Hurry up!
You'll never get away with this.
And once you find her, you can send her and Beth on a boat to escape, as you take a nice car peeling out of the lot before anyone can stop you. And although not much happens story-wise here, this chapter introduces some great new game mechanics. By the way, if you like this video so far, please consider subscribing to my channel, or even supporting my Patreon and joining my Discord, which I will put in the description below. Because although this is my first video like this, I'll be making more just like this one at the start of every month from now on. But let's get back to the video. Act 4. Paul's sickness is getting worse, as he nearly kills Martin out of rage from Joyce kidnapping the doctor.
How the fuck did this happen, Martin? How is it possible they managed to take her?
Paul, is your illness talking? I'm on your side. Easy, you're...
They took her. Without Sophia, there's no chance of a cure.
We did all we could. But there are forces within Monarch working against you, and I believe Burke was just the tip of the iceberg. It wasn't just Joyce that did this.
Sir? We've recovered Dr. Emerald's laptop.
And you're faced with a choice on who to trust. Martin...
Alright, Emerald. Let's go fix the time machine.
I said I'll try.
Evidence was mounting against Sophia. I couldn't simply ignore it, despite everything we had been through.
And she knew you'd never make it without those treatments. And then she took them away.
If she'd turned against me with what she knew, the damage could be immeasurable.
Or the doctor.
I could only trust one of them.
I want him apprehended. Immediately.
So I have some information about Morton Hatch.
Martin had been my closest advisor for years. I began to wonder if that had been a mistake.
Sophia's loyal.
She's always been loyal.
I don't think we can trust her. The way she looked at the countermeasure like she's seen it before. She knows what it does.
Sophia's research had saved my life. Loyalty doesn't run any deeper.
And while both of these have their own reasons not to trust them, I chose the doctor. And Paul sets spies on Martin as we cut back to episode 3. With Charlie still on the run from the rest of the group, he starts making his way towards a meeting he has with Martin, where Martin tries to tip the scale in his honor and gets Charlie to betray Paul in exchange for being included into the lifeboat protocol.
It's a sanctuary, designed to shelter a list of Monarch's essential personnel to weather the storm until they can develop a solution.
Essential personnel. So that means that I'd be on that list, right?
Not under Paul Serene's lead, you wouldn't. He's failed to see the value in his own people, too consumed with grand ideals and delusions. You know what I find to be the most terrifying notion on this planet?
Meanwhile, Paul himself is faced with a tough decision on if he wants to initiate lifeboat protocol or not, with only 8 hours until time becomes so unstable that it could end at any moment.
Give me a time.
The Joyce field could collapse within 8 hours.
We then see Charlie getting cut off at the bridge by Liam and Fiona, still on the phone with Martin, letting him hear everything, as he explains that there's a tunnel to get to lifeboat protocol. And Martin, using a copy of the doctor's fingerprints, enters the lab where all of Paul's medicine is. And he plants C4 before leaving and blowing the whole place up, destroying all of Paul's medicine. Now that the group has reached the end of the tunnel, they...
Get on the fucking ground! Hey, ground! No, we're with Monarch! What don't you understand? No, get on the ground!
Hey, no. Hey, I'm the one that called it in. I'm Hatch's guy.
Wincott.
Yeah.
Where's she?
She's Chronon scientist. She's important. We have to get her back to Monarch right away. Please.
Get the fuck out of here. Now!
Yeah.
Gibson, I got Burke.
Fiona, you gotta listen. Hey.
Shit, you killed him!
Fuck!
That phone call that Charlie made, or was still on, just got Liam killed. And by making that one call, he could have just saved his life. As he continues to lifeboat, he tries to convince Fiona that it was the right move, but she yells at him, then quickly getting in a car, saying that she has to go
do something,
and leaves as we cut back to Liam.
I'm really gonna enjoy killing your wife.
He's still alive. Surprisingly, he kills the guy that shot him and heads towards the hospital to go get his wife, quickly getting into another fight. This act is a huge turning point for everyone, but it really shows here with Liam in how he fights. Going from perfect dodging and calculated attacks, he now fights with a bit more desperation down to the last second. And although he does still fight well, because he's a good fighter, it's a little bit slower and he gets hit more than you would have seen him in his earlier fights, holding his wounds as his wife watches in horror, making him beg her to trust him.
Give me the keys.
Get away from me. Get
Emily,
away.
listen, please. This is not who I am. This is not. I'm telling you, I never felt good doing this. I never felt good doing this. But it's the only thing I knew how to do. And when I got back, I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find anything to do. And Monarch, they found that useful, and they put me to work. And I swear to God, I couldn't stand being alone. So every Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I would walk down the street because it was the only 2 nights at the bartender. She wasn't at school. And I told myself every night to ask you out. It took me a fucking year. But Emily, if Monarch, if they gave me structure, you gave me purpose. I did this to protect you. I did this to protect us, our family. I did this to protect our family. And Emily, you have to listen to me. Something terrible is coming, and I will explain to you on the way, but we have to move. We have to move right now. If you will just let me protect you one last time. Please. Please. This is me. It's me.
This scene, in my opinion, is one of the best in the entire show. Liam tells the audience how he met his wife in a way that doesn't feel forced and makes you feel for these characters that have only been on screen for less than 2 hours, his wife only being shown for like 5 minutes. Seconds before, Paul got word that his lab has been destroyed by a suspected doctor. He realizes that he's dead without his medicine, and he knows she wouldn't blow up the lab. So he activates lifeboat protocol soon after and sends his men to arrest Martin, knowing it must have been him.
So I have some information about Morton Hatch. I want him apprehended. Immediately.
You took the one thing Mr. Serene needed to survive, Dr. Amaral. That made you priority 1.
Yeah, they made that clear. Monarch lined every escape route with barricades, roadblocks. I had to get to the mainland, but I couldn't do it by car. Needed a new plan.
All right, let's go.
Back to the game, you had to lose the car as Monarch is patrolling the streets. so you're going to have to go the rest of the way on foot, calling Beth to bring a boat around to the docks so you can get picked up once you reach the water.
I can't stay here long, Jack. You're gonna need to be quick.
Yeah, about that.
It's bad news?
Reoccurring theme of the night. I'm looking at the bridge right now. If I go anywhere near that thing, there's gonna be innocent people caught in the crossfire.
All right. Any bright
Thanks for your
ideas?
patience, folks. We'll have you on your way again soon.
Let me see. There's a pier under the bridge. You should be able to meet me there with the boat. Giant gas sign out front. Can't miss it.
It's nice and bright for Monarch to see.
There's not a lot of options. Switching to Monarch frequencies. Be in touch soon.
All right, I'll be there in a few minutes. Don't stand me up.
As you make your way onto the bridge, you see that the PR campaign is working well in Paul's favor, as your face is on posters everywhere calling you a terrorist. As you make your way across the bridge, another boat crashes into it right as time stops, forcing you to platform your way down the objects frozen in time, which is a really cool visual and a fun way to spice up the platforming. But as time unpauses, you have to jump into the water below, later getting picked up by Beth, I assume. You get back to the pool and set up the time machine, but while setting it up, Beth reveals a big secret.
That's my signature.
You made this?
I've never even been here before.
That woman in the picture is you, isn't it? So,
Jack, there's something you should know. 1999. I was 8 years old, playing in my backyard, and a woman approached me, told me she was from the future. She gave me very specific details of events that would come to pass. She gave me this, filled with dates, events, proof of it all. Jack, that woman,
it was you.
everything I told myself would happen, did. Every detail, for better or worse, came to pass and couldn't be changed. Our fate is laid out before us, Jack. Everything that happened to get us here, every sacrifice that was made, they're all a part of this path. And they can't be changed or undone.
Beth.
When we step in that time machine, you will see for yourself.
Once the time machine is ready to go, the Doctor sabotages it, sending Beth back to 1999, and you follow her back, realizing that Beth has lost hope in the plan. But you convince her it's worth trying, and head to Will's workshop to retrieve the device. Here you encounter Paul, where you get into a big fight over the CFR and suddenly get pulled back to current day, leaving Beth to fend for herself.
We can survive this together.
We failed. We created Ground Zero. Caused everything to happen how it always did. Every piece falling into place.
Except one. The blast sent you through time. Brought you back to 2016. The same exact time from which you left. Something anchored you there.
And you see Paul shoot her in cold blood, ending the chapter.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't!
I'm not wrong.
You can't.
No!
Like I said, this chapter is a huge turning point where things seem to hit their worst. But Now, without any further ado, let's talk about...
I don't have much time left, I know. I spent 17 years working it out, planning it, building Monarch, because I knew what was coming, and I knew it couldn't be stopped. But what I've built has been turned against me. What is the point in saving them if I can't trust them? I'm slipping away into pain and rage. The sickness is accelerating. The CFR.
Paul's sickness has reached its worst as he limps his way through the empty hallways of Monarch HQ. He's a shell of his former self, nearly unable to contain his anger and paranoia, asking who else will betray him. And now, at the last junction, as one of his men tell him that some of his medicine survived the bombing of the lab, Paul is faced with a decision: to either take the medicine and stay level-headed, but in return become physically weaker.
I'm not a traitor. We're the same now. And I need your help. I can focus on the mission. The lifeboat. See it through to the end. I still have allies I can trust.
Look, you have to realize you're not going to keep me from getting the CFR.
Last chance to walk away, Joyce!
Liam Burke. He would fight to defend us. To slow Jack down. The plan could still work.
Or refuse the medicine, regaining his former strength, but letting his anger confuse him, too paranoid to see his own plan through.
Assured my downfall. And now, I will assure yours.
My world will be renewal. My world will see balance.
Chaos. It's falling apart. They're working against me. They're fighting each other.
You'll need to get to Serene's office. He's got direct access to the CFR. All right? Joyce fixes the fracture. He fixes the world. We all go home happy.
Charlie Wincott. Another weakling. A traitor siding with Jack. I can make them suffer. All of them.
This is very important because this act isn't just the end of the game, it's the end of time. And what he does now is how he views the world in his last days alive. But he will not stop his plan so close to its end as we move to Episode 4. Martin's been arrested for his crimes, and the doctor has escaped, heading towards Paul, still loyal, asking if he took his medicine. At the same time, Charlie is hacking the Monarch servers, adding himself and Fiona to Lifeboat Protocol, but he can't reach her as she's trying to talk to Beth, because it turns out, all along, she was trying to help you and Beth. But this time, she sadly has to confess her failure, and there's no response.
Beth, it didn't work. I'm sorry. I couldn't find the protocol.
Fiona Miller?
Yes, speaking.
This is Jack Joyce. Beth told me you were working together. You might be the only ally I have left.
What happened?
Serene. There wasn't anything I could do, but Fiona, there is something we can do now. I need to find something Will call the countermeasure. It's 12-sided, small, metallic, like a soccer ball.
The CFR.
The what?
The Chronon Field Regulator. That is the countermeasure.
And it can fix the fracture.
Beth is gone and the world is ending, but Joyce is there and he still needs help. After getting the message that she's on lifeboat, she heads towards it, but not to be saved, to talk to Charlie.
Hey, wait! Wait.
I need to finish this.
I know, but I'm the one that should go. The CFR defenses. There's no way he's gonna be able to get past them alone. I'm the only one. I mean, you belong down here. You actually would be useful. I'm dead weight. I'm a glorified locksmith. Why don't you let somebody else be the hero? Okay, tough chick?
Everyone needs IT, Charlie.
He's been convinced to shut down the CFR for Joyce, and he starts to climb Monarch, but he's not the only person that's been convinced. Liam needs, above all, to keep his wife safe, and Paul gives him that opportunity.
I know what you want. You're protecting what's yours. I want to protect what's mine. We're the same now. And I need your help. And you need mine. You're looking for the lifeboat. Isn't that right? And you know what we're facing. I have a team down there. They will fix the fracture. Time will go on. But not if the CFR goes unprotected.
CFR?
It's our key. It's what makes the lifeboat possible. Powers it. But my enemies want it destroyed. You could keep it safe. And when this is over, your wife, she'll be waiting for you. So I could take her with me. She'll survive.
Liam, what is he talking about?
I think of what happens if we're down there unprotected. None of us are saved.
I need you to go with him. He's gonna take you to the lifeboat. I'll find you when it's over.
As they both head up to the CFR, and Paul gives his last speech, the final showdown is upon us. And Charlie realizes that Liam isn't dead as they meet face to face again.
Defenses are down. It's all you. You're good to go.
Step the fuck away from there!
I can't, Liam!
Get the fuck away from
Mark!
Get away!
Joyce needs it.
Joyce?
Joyce can fix the fracture, Liam.
You need to get the fuck out of here, Charlie.
I'm not moving.
Get out of here!
I'm not moving, so you're gonna have to kill me. Once and for all, you're gonna have to fucking kill me. Because right now, Liam, I'm thinking about more than myself.
You don't know what Joyce is gonna do.
No, I don't. But I have faith in Fiona. And she believes in Joyce. So I gotta believe too. Think about it. Fix the lifeboat, you save your wife. We fix the fracture, it saves us all. Okay? So go ahead. Go ahead and kill me. It's not gonna make a fucking difference. But if you kill Joyce, then we have...
Your perceptions, Liam, they're off. This world you know, this world is ending. But one world's end is merely another's beginning. My world will be a renewal.
bellows. We've changed things. World. Universe. First beings powerful enough to undo the very fabric that we're part of. Now, we must believe that we are powerful enough to set things straight again. We've all made sacrifices. We have all made sacrifices. But we're not just here to work for ourselves. We're here for our families, for mankind. To change history, to make history. Right here, right now.
Now Joyce has to make his climb to the CFR. And as you do, you can slowly piece together a story of how Martin made his way up Monarch from short glimpses into the past and watching the destruction it brought. But there's something causing chaos through Monarch, and although at first you might think it's unrelated, after playing this game many times there's only one answer to what this creature is: Martin Hatch. And although you might think he seems like a normal guy, I can assure you he's not. Once you see this ending, you will realize that Martin Hatch is not what he seems. As you make your way up, you're also assisted by Fiona, who helps you hack through doors and gives you some insider information. We also run into our last enemy type, that I don't know how to name, but I'm going to try. Shield Brutes, which, on top of being harder to kill, make bubbles that stop your powers. You soon find out that the time machine has been moved to the top of Monarch HQ, perfect for an escape after you stop the CFR. But Paul knows your plan and calls you soon after, heading towards the pool, waiting for you to try and escape.
I'm done playing games. I'm here for what you stole.
Yes, of course.
The CFR. If you understood just how much depended on that, you'd leave it alone. But I know you don't care.
You're right. I don't. And it looks like you're not here to stop me.
Yes. Yes, everything will play out as it has to play out. I'll see you very soon, Jack.
And here it is, Liam's final stand. This fight, you're put on the level of just one man, due to the machine nearby, and it puts a face behind all the men that you've killed in the past, each one having lives just like Liam. And although your cause is just, you are not. Jack Joyce is a terrorist, at least to the men that he's killed. And Liam, in his last moments alive, this dying man aims his gun not for him, but for his wife. Dying for what he believes is a just cause. We know his story. You know his story, but Jack Joyce does not. This story is not black and white. Time is ending and everyone just wants to live. And here we see why these enemies fight, and this scene is one of the most important of Quantum Break and another reason why I love this game so much. Now you get to the countermeasure and start up the time machine, but you're not going to the swimming pool. You're going to Will. After all, you need someone who knows how to use it, and Will does, so you start up the time machine and go back to when it was first used, when time broke. Here you see that all along you were doing everything. Monarch wasn't dealing with another person, Monarch was dealing with you. Now you see Will right before he died, this time using your powers to save him from the falling rubble.
Come on, gotta move.
heading towards the pool and starting up the time machine, entering the final fight. And although it's a challenge, it ends fast. You come face to face with Paul. But now you unfreeze Will and set up the countermeasure. Using your new powers to the fullest, you activate it. And although Paul tries to come back, the CFR activates too soon, erasing him from time, getting rid of your powers and saving the world.
Hurry up! It's working! It's like a push me against the entire goddamn universe! I got it!
The countermeasure. It stitched time back together everywhere. The destruction couldn't be undone. The lives we lost were real. But we fixed it.
Jack. Will.
Clocks kept on ticking.
Come on. Come on. I think we just saved the universe.
Yeah. Where's Paul?
He's dead. He's gone. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Will, he was wrong about everything.
Was he?
Will. The countermeasure worked.
Whoa. Countermeasure burned out. The Maya Joyce field should be stable now. Of course, I'll have to run a few tests to confirm. But there's no reason to believe that the fracture isn't over. Whoa.
Cutting back to the present, you finish the interview and see Martin Hatch.
Finally. Thought you wanted to talk, not get my life story.
Well, you were at the heart of all of this. And you can understand our need to find out exactly what happened.
I heard it's all being pinned on Paul. It's quite the feat.
Paul Serene always danced to his own tune, you know that. He and his delusions did tremendous damage to Monarch. But we can still salvage this company. We can use a man like you. It's not the same Monarch you know, Mr. Joyce. Your exceptional qualities are obvious, and we both know you have certain needs our expertise could help with. We can help each other.
Do you feel it? Paul's sickness. Now here's the final junction. So what will you do? Well, that was Quantum Break, a game I love a lot from its story to gameplay, and it's all around a fun game. People don't talk about it anymore, if they ever did at all, to be honest. And I really liked it. But before I end this video, we have one more thing to do, the ranking. First, I will rate the difficulty. If you want more info about the chart, feel free to pause and read the brief description of what it means on my 10-point scale. This is based off of the game on its hardest difficulty. In my opinion, this game needs some skill, 1 point, no luck, 0 points. The punishment on death is just a small loss of progress, 0 points. The mechanics are all needed along with creativity, 2 points, and it can be beaten in just about 3 days, 1 point. So altogether, Quantum Break gets a 4 on the difficulty scale, which puts it just below the average difficulty. I judge things a bit more harshly when it comes to difficulty, so although it's below average for me, it realistically is still going to be a pretty hard challenge. As for the basic good or bad ranking, it's a 30-point scale, which you again might want to pause to read. But to sum it up, the way that it works is you can get up to 30 points, and then to get our average 10 out of 10 score, we cut the amount of points that you get in half and change the out of points from a 30 to a 10, leaving 10 points extra room that you could technically go without and still have a 10 out of 10 game. This gives you a little bit of wiggle room, which you kind of need because certain things contradict each other or are just really hard to all get. Well, now let's start. The story is amazing, 2 points. The guns are all perfectly balanced, along with their powers and enemies, 2 points. The level design is average but fun, 1 point. The game is only $40, 1 point. I couldn't find any glitches, 2 points. There's not really any funny parts, but that doesn't matter to me, 0 points. I thought it was great, but didn't really impact me much, 0 points. I loved the combat, and the time powers felt very unique, 2 points. Sadly, it's not the longest game. You can beat it in about 3 days, 1 point. It reuses its areas sometimes, but in a way that still makes them feel different and unique, so it's not really a problem, 2 points. The rewards are good, but I wish that there was more, 1 point. The controls are very smooth, but not very unique, 1 point. The sound design is good, but still basic, 1 point. The atmosphere is immersive and consistent with no contradictions and great world building, 2 points. And finally, your choices not only matter, but fundamentally change the story, 2 points. So the overall score is 19 out of 30, which once reduced, we get 8.5 out of 10, which is pretty high. And with that, I think we can finally put this game to rest. Well, shout out what you think about this. Well, comment what you think about this game and go play it yourself. By the way, this is where I would shout out my Patreon subscribers, so feel free to go subscribe and join the Discord as I will leave the link in the description.